What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. It's that time for another episode of the Banner Saga. In the previous episode, we had a flawless battle. I'm pretty proud of myself. I kind of posted on Facebook about it. I was like, yeah! Everybody was like, what the hell is the Banner Saga? Because I think 98% of the people on my Facebook have no idea what's going on in gaming. Anyways, but you know what? It was a victory for me, and so I felt proud of myself. In this episode, I don't really know what we're going to try and attempt to do. I think the battles on the wall there are just kind of set up so that you can farm out some renown before you finish the game off. Let's go back to the market. Did we gain supplies? We must have lost. Oh, we did. We lost like 80 clansmen. They just kind of went off somewhere. I don't know. They were hiding or something of that nature. But we've got enough on hand right now to where we can upgrade somebody. So let's go through our roster and figure out who we want to promote. We can throw down 15 on him to get him up to the next rank. And I think that's probably going to be a good decision. Let me run through everybody else, though, just to make sure. Ivor's sitting at level 4, Gunolf's at 4, Avon's at 5, obviously, Hogan's there, Alet's at 5, and so we can do a 15 and a 10, which means I think we can, no, we can do a 15 and, so do we have anybody that can bump up to level, we're kind of left without options here. Krumir, we could upgrade Krumir, which would work out okay. But I think it's probably going to be a better idea to go with somebody from our A team, I guess. Let's promote Rook, since I know for sure we're going to use him. There's 15 renown gone, and what do we want to do with Rook? Well, Rook's in an awkward situation where I think he needs willpower, but he also needs extra exertion. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll double up right there, and on his next level up, if we even get there, there's no guarantee that we'll absolutely be able to get him to rank 5. I think that I'll be able to go 6 and 3. Which will then leave him in a pretty good spot. I suppose I'll confirm that for now, not really think about it any further. Let's make sure that everybody's using something that they can make use of. I know that I have the tendency to not look at what gear people have equipped. And we had him with the Barkin rune, which gives him the dodge chance, but do we have anything else that might be nice for him? Everything else appears to be sort of diverted for level 5. So I guess I'll leave him with that. And seeing as we have nobody else at level 5, let's go with him. And there's an interesting cause to be made right now. Now with this beer stein, the interesting thing that I was kind of noticing is I'm sort of wondering, his lightning attack is a strength attack. Would he get the knockback there from his 3 strength attack? Because he always deals 4 if we bump it up. It's one of those little things that I'm not sure if it would work or not. I might give him the Scarlet Feather so that he can run around a little bit better, make him a tad more mobile. Although that might be a useful item for Hogan too, and seeing as we're now out of renown for the future, everybody else needs a 15 in order to be at their peak. Bellower's going to be here soon, and from what I understand about that fight, it really sort of depends on your ability to deal damage properly, or the ability to sunder off armor. Let's go to the walls and we'll see what they have waiting for us. Ivor, you begin. Can we really keep this up? Ivor looks like he hasn't slept for days. He grunts something unintelligible. The weight of the situation is crushing. Then, from far in the distance, you hear a horn. Dredge don't use horns, it occurs to you. Avon appears at your side as a long caravan of people come into view, Dredge turning to attack them. Who's that, you ask? It can't be, says Avon. He runs towards the gate shouting, "You see their banner? Attack on!" As you wonder how they got here, the gates are heaved open and you charge onto the field, clearing a path through the dredge. Okay, so we're going to take our same team that we had before, because we're giving Trigvi another day off. I was pleased with the way that Avon performed in the last episode. I felt like he did a pretty good job there. Let's flag ourselves as ready and get on out and take a look at the business to be had. The thing I am liking about Avon is his lightning ability takes the edge off the enemy, and so they might have 18 damage, but if they get hit by him, they're down now to 14, which is way, way less scary. We're going to back off into a corner, as we always do. And while I could probably deploy a little bit better than that, we've got plenty of time to resituate people in the chance that it needs to be done. Let's get Hakon up into the gates, and obviously we're going to spend our first couple turns relaxing. I do wish that relaxing... Oh, he was able to attack on his first turn. So I'm going to have to run out here and one-shot him, unfortunately. That does leave him susceptible to a string of attacks, the likes of which I really don't like. But then again, given killing one right now might be optimal. Let me take a look at the battlefield here. How far can he move? So, at worst, he'll take one from him at 1 exertion at 10. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll have him fall back in the next turn. Nobody else can get at him, and so he's taking the risk of a little bit of damage in exchange for a kill right this second. And I think I can accept that. He's going to sunder away some armor, which is fine. His armor has never been his strong point anyways. Out here, we don't really have anything to do with him, so I'm going to wait and see. No attack from him, and he was the other guy that was potentially going to get some damage off. So let's go ahead and rotate a little bit forward so that he's got adjacency. I'm going to fall him back so that when we do get out there and start dealing with our adjacency bonuses, he gets a +2 instead of a +1. So if we can have a Varl on each side and maybe an archer behind him, that would be even better. And now we've got a shield wall bonus too, so I think that's definitely going to work out in our favor. Actually, I think I'm going to keep him where he's at right now. We're just kind of playing a wait-and-see battle right now. It's not the kind of wait-and-see battle that I would prefer. That'd be kind of ironic if we were. Actually, I guess it would just be punny if it was a wait-and-see battle and we were all on boats right now. I was trying to make like humorous light of a terrible situation, but I think that's about the best that I'm going to be able to do with it. We could play really risky and get in here and have him do a tornado and wipe out 2 guys in 1 turn, but I think I'd rather just play it safe for now. Let's back him off for a moment, and then we'll end his turn. I would way rather allow the enemy to reconfigure themselves in inoptimal positions. They do have a lot more single square guys, which is something else that we're going to have to think about. But if they tend to collapse up, and you'll forgive me right there, I really need to reconfigure my mic. I find myself, I use a lot of gestures in real life. If there's one thing I learned about life, it's that if you use gestures, people tend to believe whatever you're saying a lot better. I don't know if that's truly the case, but I hand gesture even when I'm just talking into the mic. And the side effect of that situation is that I find myself always sort of bumping into my mic. I just can't help it. Now, the sad fact of the matter here is that a lot of their archers are going to be able to cause problems for us. So we need to have somebody out there to cause problems for them. Looking at the way their battlefield is situated, I think if I could do a little bit of damage, and I realize I'm playing risky right here. I'm being very, very risky. But his turn is reasonably far off. I just need to do something about these little guys right here. So I apologize if you're grinding your teeth right now, but I don't have the leeway to have everybody move forward, and yet at the same time, I can't necessarily let them sit back there and sunder off the armor of my tanks either. Now, in allowing him to back off, it has made a stop block for that unit right there, which works out to my favor. I'm going to rest, and in the worst case scenario, he didn't do, I thought he was going to move forward and attack this line right here. That's okay. I'll take it. And in his next turn, we'll have him fall back behind our own lines. Now, if I was them, I'd be using these single units right here to summon allies like crazy and just further tip things into my favor, but they don't appear to have noticed that that's an available option for them to partake of. They haven't noticed the chalice before them. And I think the main thing that I'd like to do right here is we're really going to try and focus on archers for this first little bit so that it leaves us with the time and the ability to deal with everybody else. Alette's obviously just going to hold her position. He can't move through his own lines, so they're tripping over themselves again, which, in a loverly fashion, what's he doing right now? If he expends a little bit of his willpower, he can get at us. I think I'm just going to fall back behind my own lines one more time. And so there it is. The enemy is left in this weird situation where they can't decide if they want to dive in on us or not. We've also got Avon with full ability, so if they keep sundering off his armor, what I'll do is I'll just heal it. Now then, we'll give it one more turn. He's going to be able to close with us on the next turn, but if I step him back by 1, it does leave us a little bit safer, so that's what I'm going to do. And that sort of changed his plan of attack. I bet that's what he was trying to do. One of the things I've noticed about the AI is that they really just try and draw a hard line to whoever they can get towards. We don't have anybody in range of his lightning yet. Him being at 13, nobody can get through his armor yet. We'll heal him on the next turn if we need to. And so forward comes their first lineman. Now's going to be the time where I think we probably want to jump in and start attacking. Mogan's not going to be the first person, though, I don't think. We've got a bit of time on our hands. However, I'm going to leave Mogan where he's at. I'm going to allow them to have the initiative in the fact that I think I can do better. With him, we're going to do 5 damage to his armor, because it's a shot that we can take at this given time. Although, who gives you the time? I always look at that, and they say we have, like, this given time, and kind of the fundamental problem with that statement is that someone has given you the time. I guess the fundamental forces of physics have given me the time. I guess if I had to attribute who allowed me to have the time on hand. Which, there you go, there's another weird situation, because you can't hold time in your hand either. God, I'm just running into all kinds of weird philosophical, philophysical conversations here. Now then, what we need Ivor to do is we need him to step forward and become that guy that's in the front of their lines. We're not going to kill this unit just yet. Well, I'm going to step him to there. There we go. And so unfortunately, he's going to take a 15er from that guy, which is going to be really nasty unless we do even worse. Avon's up before that big guy, so we'll try and heal him up before we go any further. He doesn't have any sundering ability, so I'm going to leave him back for just a second until we figure out what we want to do. He's going to throw explosives out, which may work for or against us. Avon is going to use his mending ability now. And it's going to be... Hold on, let me get the feel for what that ability is going to do again. So mend, it's going to deal the mender's current willpower. But if I add points to it, how does that help me? Let's find out. Mend 3, his current willpower... +2. Now, Avon is looking a little bit low in that respect, so costing me 3, it's going to restore 3, I guess. So that's not really going to help me out as much as I had hoped it might. But we're still going to do it. In fact, there becomes an argument that I might be kind of sabotaging myself, but we only need him to hold for one more turn for this big guy here. I would have liked to have had an adjacency bonus. This big guy's kind of scary. I need to do something about him, and soon, I think. I would have really preferred... I think I'm going to go in for the kill right there. It's a weird decision. Bloody Flail might be the right choice, though, given how much armor he has. And in the worst case scenario, we just lower his strength a tad so he can't hurt this guy as much as we had hoped. He's going to take the knockback, which is really going to kind of backfire on me. I'm going to need her right here. We're going to take our first big shot at him to make sure that we can one-shot him over the course of one turn. She's got 8. That's fine. We'll take it. The downside here is I am beginning to think we may... Unless I do something super sneaky here. Oh, good. Well, I may be able to accomplish something then. We'll take a shot at him. And we are going to add a little bit of heat to it. We're going to bring out the Hita. And there it is. So he's now no longer an issue. Fantastic. That's what I was tremendously concerned about was him. He was the only person on the field right now that I was like, something terrible might happen if I don't handle this. We need to get another willpower, so we're going to whack this guy right now. Or I could murder him quick and dirty. I think that's what I'll do. Let's murder him first. And so down he goes. These guys are all archers, so I don't think we run the risk of him being dogpiled as badly. Well, it may happen, but we'll keep an eye on it. We also want to get the hell away from those explosives, which are becoming sort of terrifying. He's got a 9 versus an 8. Let's go ahead and deal some damage right here. Just to say we did. Not the best decision, but it does give us a little bit of that bouncy damage that gets around. So he dealt a 2 instead of a 1. He's now going to start taking real damage. Oh, he's still standing within range. Yeah, we're going to lose Ivor. Unfortunate, but it is going to happen. Now then, with his 3 remaining... It seems like a bit of a waste to throw a bunch of willpower on him. Just to save somebody that I think we're going to lose anyways. So in the interest of my own stupidity, I probably should have moved him. He's going to eat both those bombs, I think. And I don't think any amount of armor is going to save him. We have a diagonal right there between these 2 units. That leads me to think a smart decision might be Arc Lightning on him. I can't tell if they have a diagonal. I think they do. In any case, we'll try for now. I'd rather deal damage to him than him, so we'll go for it. Hey, there it is. I've sort of been run off, so I'm gonna have to wait until those bombs go off, unfortunately. And so there it is, we've lost Ivor. And that leaves us with no front line, which means that Mogan's gonna have to be our guy for this. Nope, that's not what I wanted, although I do need her. Let's get rid of his armor. That's going to be our primary concern right now. And then I'm really going to try and get him into an advantageous position. Where he can whirlwind some of these guys. He's going to be able to close, unfortunately. Let's make him worthless. There it is. Problem solved. Over here, we can kill off 2 guys with 1 swing. Or we can just finish him off and try and bait this guy for later. In the interest of keeping his strength up, they do have a lot of full health archers, so he's got a 5. He's going to be able to do a 4, assuming he doesn't trade in anything right there, which would put him down to a 12. I think what I would rather do is scooch him back a little bit. And so now we wait and see what he does. He has done something a little bit strange, and not necessarily expected. I'm gonna go full in on him for the purpose of using Arc Lightning one more time, just to get his strength out of the way so he's no longer a hitter for the enemy like he was before. And so down he goes. We need to deal with him pretty soon. I'm gonna put Mogan in place right there, and we're gonna allow him to do the 5 swing damage. And so there it is. A little bit better. I was hoping he would land a lot of the hits on that guy's strength, but it didn't happen, so whatever. They're probably going to throw bombs in the center right there. Or throw bombs out in stranger locations. Okay. Well. I think right there is looking like a reasonable position. We'll just throw 5 armor damage on him, so that on the next turn I can hurt him a little bit better, and to knock him back a tad. God, okay, well, I don't like the spot they've placed me in. But then again, they're sort of sabotaging themselves right now, too. I'm gonna move him over to here, which might seem like a bad move, but he'll be able to kill this guy. And that's good enough for me, being able to kill 1 guy here. You've got to grasp onto whatever little notches are available. Now on this side, I can put him into harm's way with the intent of killing off 2 enemies at the same time. Or I can keep him out of harm's way and just kill 1. I think I'm going to go for the single kill. Getting this big guy out of the way seems like a good plan in order to get at some of these archers. And on the next turn, if I can run him back, he'll be able to get into this little nook right here. And once he's inside of there, he'll be able to take out everybody. We have no other options available with Avend, so we can use him as a frontline combatant, or B, we can just have him fall away, and that's what I think I'm going to do. We'll have him rest up for a turn or 2. They've killed off their own unit with the explosives available, and in so doing, they may have killed off Mogan too. I'm going to use Mogan's willpower to have him flee the field. And I've sort of just got to hope that he'll be okay. She's in a bad spot right now. But her only move is going to be sundering armor off of him. Because if we lose her, we can just deploy her with a strength deficiency, getting rid of his armor so that on the next turn, this guy can't really hit that hard anyways. He's up next, unfortunately. I need the game to help me out a little bit here. I need to kill him. And so what we'll do is we'll step out to there. No misclicks this time because this is a life or death situation. And we'll kill him off. There it is. Oh, cutting it close. Assuming some of these guys don't have any willpower. I'm gonna have to Tempest my own units. It's okay though, because he's got 8 armor and the 17. He'll get knocked down, but it shouldn't kill him. So let's go for the Tempest. Okay. And so I think that was about the best optimal solution I could have come up with after losing... Unfortunately, poor Ivor. He's lost an arm. He's getting his eyes poked out. He's having a really rough couple of weeks. I mean, Ivor's had a really, really bad, I guess, quarter. Juno. I wasn't sure I'd ever see you again, Avon. She smiles and they embrace. Avon is completely taken aback, as though he doesn't dare believe she's real. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to Sigurholm. I ran into problems. Problems is putting it lightly. There's a mile-wide canyon practically splitting the world in two over those hills. Couldn't find a place to cross. Worse, dredge are practically falling out of it like blood from a wound. They're not coming from the north anymore. They're everywhere. We noticed. Glad to see you made it out alive, Ingvar. I take it the others didn't. Hakon becomes quiet, then he motions towards Juno. She got across somehow, found her out cold for a second time since leaving Strand. We need every axe we can get right now. Bellower's here. Gods be damned, I thought I was free of that menace. I'll deal with Bellower. Come on, no need to tempt him by standing out here. Alright, so we're back inside the confines of our own city. Hakon's caravan enters the city, fighting off waves of dredge as they go. To your relief, hundreds of skilled warriors are now safely in Borsgard. Nice. Hakon joins you with his personal bodyguard Mogir. Behind him, the Prince Luden and his entourage are in tow, looking less than pleased to be here. I have one last trip to make, and I need this one to come with me, she says, pointing to you. I'm sorry, Avon. You must wait here for the last time. Don't let the city fall before I return. It takes everything within Avon's power to hold back, but he does. She turns to you. Rook, come with me. We'll learn in 2 days, maybe less if you're as quick as you look. Tell anyone who needs to know. Not far. We asked her where we need to go. I forgot to read it, says Juno. She pauses and something shifts in your vision just for a moment. I know it's hard, she says, her voice filling your head, and you've suddenly been through a lot. As she speaks again, the rest of the world melts away, but you're needed. You can't find the words to argue. God, our caravan looks sort of miserable right now, and our banner's gotten shorter too. You never want your banner to get shorter. You always want it to get longer. Otherwise, people start making fun of your banner in the locker room. The whole thing just turns into a debacle. You don't remember leaving the city, but here you are, wandering through unfamiliar ground behind Juno. You're alone, aside from hundreds of dredge who are all facing an enormous stone ahead. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up. I feel kind of terrified about what's going to happen. These dredge are really kind of eyeballing us. They've got that sort of... I don't know, they're looking at us like we're the drunk chick at the bar, and I'm not feeling so good about it. We're at the godstone of Stravs. You glance nervously around, but the dredge didn't seem to hear her. It's okay, you can speak. Softly. Is this where you're gonna sacrifice me? Juno smiles. What could have come across as profoundly creepy looks sincere instead. No, the dredge can't see us. To be more precise, they can see us, but I've convinced them to be unconcerned. I can understand your apprehension, though. Why are we surrounded by dredge? They seem drawn to the godstone. There are many things we don't know about Stravs. Maybe they see him as a patron, or it's an attraction they simply can't explain. Does Stravs have something to do with that serpent in Einertoft? What was that thing? I can't say. You can't? I have my suspicions, but until I've had time At the Mender libraries, it would be unwise to speculate. For all our knowledge, it always seems as though we know little. Imagine how the rest of us feel. On the contrary, the less people know, the more certain they tend to be. Who are you? I wish we had time for a proper introduction. My name is Juno, and I'm on the Mender Council. You've met Avond, my apprentice. How are you doing these things? Controlling minds? I thought Menders built things and healed wounds. You're right, Menders do those things. But some of us still practice the teachings we've given to the Loom Mother's first creations. We're called Valka. I believe I'm the only one who can influence another's mind. Then why not take control of Bellower? I learned the talent to heal minds, not control them, though even some Valka have trouble believing this. Taking control of Bellower, it's the difference between convincing a child to sit still and telling a starving bear to stop being hungry. The truth is, we're rarely a match for the Sunder anymore. Our advantage is that we can train more Valka. It is also our weakness. The Valka pass on and lose their knowledge, while the Sunder simply grow older and more powerful. Bellower is both immortal and beyond my influence, to a point. How do we stop him? The God of Secrets will play a part, as will you. What are we doing out here? Do you know the god Stravs? Few know this stone even exists, even amongst those who have lived their whole lives in Borsgard. When Dengler deals in fortune, Stravs taught men the value of trade in a different way. He showed them, and as consequence, two sides of the same coin. See the silver and the stone? The gales up here wear away the stone, but the metal remains. We need a piece of that silver. The god Stravs is wreathed in imagery of silver weapons. The myths say he traded those weapons to the gods, and they used them to kill each other. Those who seek out the stone call him the god of train. Or the god of trade, the god of trains. No, we don't have steam engines yet. The Menders call him the god of secrets. He has both. Juno waits patiently for you. Why did you pick me? Why didn't you take Avond or Hakon? You don't even know me. I apologize for putting you in danger. Avond must keep Borsgard from falling while we're away. And if something goes wrong here, I need to be certain one of us makes it back alive. I saw the thoughts of each person when I arrived at Borsgard. You were the only one I knew would return. What do you mean? You would find your way back to Alette no matter what. Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. That's quite the quote right there. Let's get what we need and go. Indeed, you'll need to dislodge at least a fistful of the metal. We'll forge it into an arrow so that we can slay Bellower. Wait, after everything you've told me, make a magic arrow to shoot Bellower? That's all it takes? Why didn't you do that a long time ago? Juno gets a faraway look in her eyes. No, that's not all it takes. What I tell you now must not be repeated. The arrow will not kill Bellower, even if it was to strike him in the heart. He has no weakness, but it will sow doubt in his mind. When it pierces him, it will help him to believe that he is dying. The rest of you will convince him of it with sword and axe. For everyone who fights at your side must believe this to be true. You're going to trick him into thinking he's dead. That's the most insane... Can he actually be killed? No. Someday he will awaken and realize he's not dead, and I imagine he will be quite upset. First we will make the arrow, focus on the task at hand. She looks knowingly at the godstone waiting for you to start climbing. Rook, I'm not certain how the dredge will react when you do this. And behind us is a sudden drop, so be careful. Well, there it is. That was quite the quote right there, and it really gives you kind of a look into the mind of the father and how he's not going to... Essentially, there is nor hell or high water that's not going to allow him to get back to Borsgard. Just one of those little things that they sew into the game that gives you a look into the mindset of each character that really helps their humanism come through. Approaching the back of the stone, you start to climb, looking for a loose piece of the silver vein. Even without looking out into the dredge, you can feel each sinister face watching you closely, held back only by Juno's influence. Panic races through your blood. Let's go ahead and climb higher. As you climb, you can't help but notice the stony mass of the dredge lined up before the godstone like worshippers before an idol. Just a glimpse nearly immobilizes you. Your hand rests on a piece of silver that comes away easily. The dredge do not react. I suppose we won't press our luck. We already got what we need. You nimbly descend to where Juno is waiting. Well done, she says. As you walk back through the dredge, their heads turn in unison to follow. The dread that lingers and the shaking in your hands does not subside for hours. Back to the townsies we go. Oh my god. So I suppose we made it through there. You approach the gates of Borsgard again, relieved that they're still standing. It looks like they took a beating while you were gone. Alette rushes to your side and throws her arms around you once you've crept through the gates. Juno smiles at the reunion and tells you, take this time with your daughter. Find a smith who can fashion an arrow from that silver. I have other things which I must attend to, but meet me on the walls when you're done. Well, it sounds as though we've got a final attack up above. And so I'm going to break the episode off here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me at the Nerd Castle. I almost said joining me at the Noid Castle. I almost had like a weird like New York thing going, or like a New Jersey thing going on. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for joining me at the Nerd Castle. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care out there, everybody.